Yeah, really interesting fight, Teddy. Takes place next Saturday night, the 21st, over in the UK. Liam Smith takes on Chris Eubank Jr., as you said. A real crossroads fight for both men. Both fighters, well up in their mid 30s right now. And, Liam Smith's been on a nice little run over the last few years since that loss to Canelo back in 2016. He's racked up 9 wins, just 2 defeats over that time frame. One was very controversial as well. He lost to Magomed Kurbanov over in Russia, a fight many felt he deserved to win. And the other fact about Smith is he's looked even better since teaming up with trainer Joe McNally in his home city of Liverpool. McNally's arguably, in my opinion at least, probably the best coach in the UK right now. He's devised absolutely brilliant game plans for Liam Smith, obviously. Kid Shamrock as well, upsetting Kerman Laharaga over in Bilbao. And now he's got highly touted middleweight prospect Cravina Orgiaco in his stable. He's got undisputed 140-pound champ Josh Taylor as well. So, to say Liam Smith is in good hands here is a bit of an understatement. Joe McNally is one of the best in the business. With that said, and this is going to be a big but, Smith does face a fighter in Chris Eubank next weekend that I just don't see Smith's high pressure style working out all that well against. Excuse me. Chris Eubank Jr. is a fighter who trains with the legendary Roy Jones Jr. Even Praise must have heard of Roy Jones Jr. I'm presuming. Brought him back
Even
on
that
board.
guy.
Even even that guy. He brought him back on board for this fight after the Conor Benn fight fell through in October. And in many regards, there's a large part of Eubank's game that kind of bases itself, around Roy Jones Jr.'s style. He stays on the outside predominantly in fights. He looks to jump inside, with big power shots from, kind of unconventional angles as well. And it's going to be very difficult for a skilled of an operator as Liam Smith is for him to, crash that pocket, look to employ that high pressure style of his on a fighter as versatile from the outside as Chris Eubank Jr. is. The other major factor in this one is that Chris Eubank Jr. has campaigned for the majority of his career at super middleweight, up at 168. He carries an absolute ton of power. And if you need any proof of that, you just compare his stoppage of Avni Yildirim versus Canelo's stoppage of the same fighter last year. He almost decapitated poor Yildirim with an uppercut. And he's facing a fighter, Liam Smith, who's predominantly operated light middleweight, 154, for almost all of his career. So there is a size gap here. And like I said, I just don't see where Liam Smith can find success in this fight. Chris Eubank Jr. will be on the outside looking to counter Smith's jab. If Smith does find a way to crash the pocket on him, look to work away on the inside, which is basically his bread and butter in fights.
Yeah,
he's very liable to get hurt in there. Jaime Munguia dropped Smith and hurt him. Canelo stopped him to the body as well. So Chris Eubank Jr. definitely has that same level of power in which to end this fight should Smith get overly reckless in there. So it's not a cheap price. It's minus 225 right now. But I'm going to take that anyway. I'm going to take Chris Eubank to win this fight outright at minus 225 next Saturday night. Live over on the zone with you guys in the US, as well as I just believe his style, it poses too many problems for Liam Smith in this one. So, Chris Eubank Jr. for me.